wasn't planning on making a video today. In fact, I had planned on working, but sat down to have a normal productive day, and I can't get Brandon Sanderson's announcement from yesterday that I watched today out of my head. So I wrote a blog. But you see, that doesn't quite do it justice as I'm talking about video. So here I am, hardly prepped, making a video. Here we go. When I watched the Sanderson video, it was #1 on trending on YouTube. At that point, it had been out for about 22 hours and had 855,671 views. If you are a Sanderson fan and haven't watched the video, watch it now before I spoil it, and either come back to this or don't because you're so hyped up. I totally understand. If you're not one of his fans, the content of this won't entirely be relevant, but the implications are super relevant. I'm hung up not only on the fan excitement about what he announced, but just the epic masterfulness of marketing that he demonstrated in this announcement. On my blog, I called it Video Marketing Magic. I love the word magic, and it fits totally well, 1, with what he did, and 2, with what he does, which, as a TLDR for those who don't know, Brandon Sanderson is a science fiction fantasy author. Like, the science fiction fantasy author of this day and age. He finished the epic Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan after Jordan passed away. Many thanks for lining that up, Jordan. Martin, looking at you. And he has numerous magic, character, world, rich books and series in his own right. He's known for being a speed demon at writing. As far as the video mechanics, this one is not too complicated. It's nicely lit with a sort of dark look that kind of mirrors the feeling that he's trying to achieve by telling us that he's been lying to us. But it's not overproduced. It doesn't look like something that, say, Eric Thane or Parker Walbach would have done. And then we've got a slow zoom, which was probably done with post-production software, and this leads up to a big reveal. He's written a secret book. The video proceeds where we've got this continuous shot of him leaving the desk, the camera follows him, and he puts on his professor jacket, pulls out his little pointy, sticky thing, and starts talking to us with this pre-done chalkboard. It's like he's doing a lecture at BYU. It's a 1-camera setup with a cameraman and post-production edits for close-ups to highlight what he's saying. It's highly effective. What this video comes down to is announcing a Kickstarter for not 1, not 2, but 4 books that he's releasing next year. The goal was to hit $1 million by March 31st. I visited the Kickstarter. In less than a day, the Kickstarter has not only fully funded, but fully funded 15 times over. I sat watching the numbers increase like I was looking at some sort of Mega Millions Powerball jackpot thing in a casino or something. That is after signing into Kickstarter and inputting my credit card information. No, there's a lot going on here that I want to direct your attention toward. Not only is he a genius in writing, but he and his team showed that they have clearly got marketing down pat. This could have been successful if it was simply a blog on his website or some email blast, or even if he just filmed a simple phone video saying, hey, I'm launching a Kickstarter. But the way he did it was very deliberate to garner excitement. I need to pause right here and address something that has been pointed out to me. Changes some of what we're talking about and also doesn't in another way. Apparently, based on what Sanderson did, a lot of his fans were worried about his mental health. His marketing and his self is to the point that it has garnered that much emotional investment. So maybe this does add kind of a thorn in things. Something to think about. And while we won't ever know the discrepancy of how successful it would have been had he done one of these other smaller methods, I would stretch my neck out and say that had he not made a video like this, he'd be seeing wildly less attention. Maybe the Kickstarter would have only funded to 4 million in 22 hours. I don't know. But while that would still be wild, 4 million when the goal was 1 million in 31 days. 4 million is not $15 million. An announcement, like in the email or something, would have gotten me thinking, oh, cool, and visiting the Kickstarter. Then mulling over if I want to pull the trigger on hundreds of dollars when I wouldn't see it pay out until next year, and then maybe deciding to think about it for a while. An epic video that starts with a dramatic clickbait title and then continues with a slow zoom over 60 seconds where he continues to pique our interest, that ends in a very epic secret that doesn't end there because there are more secrets to come. Yeah, have all my money. I mean, it turns into movement in the camera, there's dimension in props, one after another mic drop moments. Not only has it putting my credit card in halfway through this video, but it got me posting on social media, writing a blog about it, and look, I'm doing a video on it. That's how you take an epic product, turn it into an epic story, break the internet, and make your business $15 million in 22 hours. Man, this is everything working at its best. As I said in the beginning, this video was very well thought out, well filmed, well scripted, but not overproduced. You could tell me this video was filmed on a phone and I'd believe you, but that doesn't change the fact $15 million in 22 hours. Okay? Good enough is good enough, and this goes beyond good enough. It could be more, but it didn't have to be. It was spot on. I haven't even checked it now. I'd be curious. Very rarely do we see results like this. But in this case, we have a confluence of perfected factors. I'm not convinced Brandon Sanderson is human, so I'm not sure if this is anything that we'll achieve, but we can aspire. If we line up enough of these factors, we too can achieve success. So what are the factors? Number one, he's done the work to build the raving fans. He's been doing what he does for many years. He's written I don't know how many books, especially when you now consider the 4 that he's releasing, plus he talked about the child's book that he wrote that might become a graphic novel. He's not sure, he's not counting out how many books he's written. But he's done that many books, so he's garnering attention with what he's doing. He's done however many conventions, however many public appearances. He's got a YouTube channel, a website, where he has progress bars so you can see how far along he's going with your favorite novels. He's put in the time to garner interest and woo the fans. I didn't know who he was in 2011 when I traveled for the first time alone down to Atlanta, Georgia for JordanCon. All I knew was that he was the guy who was going to finish the Wheel of Time. I was grateful because without Jordan picking a successor, I wouldn't have gotten to enjoy what was left of the series, and there was a lot left. I'm super grateful to you, Robert Jordan, wherever you are now, and Brandon Sanderson for finishing that. I'm rereading it currently and loving it. Rereading. Bought his books because I didn't know who he was. I was like, yeah, okay, I'll buy your books. And they were signed. I attended his panels. I got a picture with him and went about my way. Was I in for a shock? Even before he finished The Wheel of Time, I was in love. He became one of my favorite authors next to Jordan and Rowling and now Sarah J. Maas, but he became one of them. And I'm just one. He has many, 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 many fans. And that was 11 years ago. I'm still his fan to this day. Still a paying fan. Again, a master. Number 2, he's not just good at what he does, he's amazing. His marketing has been good, but also his books are freaking awesome. He's not just a good author or an entertaining author, he's a master. I don't think I could pay hundreds of dollars for just anyone's surprise works, especially for books. I need to know what I'm getting into. I need to know that I'm gonna like the story, that I can trust the author not to disappoint me. I need to have some idea that I'm going to enjoy what I'm about to read before I shell out money. Regular money, like $20 or $15, not hundreds of dollars. Sanderson is one of the only authors that I can confidently give my money to without knowing anything about what I'm getting because he has earned my trust and I know that I'm going to enjoy it. Number 3, the product is not just good, it's epic. No, this isn't number 2 twice. His product in this case is his Kickstarter campaign.
He could have chosen to release these books any number of ways, just like, hey, I wrote a secret book, here you go. And we would have lapped it right up. But he ramped up the excitement by making it as big of a deal as it is. So what would have just been 4 good products becomes one really, really cool product.
But also, in the months that aren't having a book being released, we have the option to get a swag bag or some sort of subscription box of surprises that is themed on some part of the Sanderson world. It's not just that he's launching a Kickstarter to share one book with us. This man has got a plan. It's detailed, it's thorough, and he's cultivated this experience for us. It's a choose your own adventure, because for the rest of the month, he'll be releasing videos that will be giving hints at what the books are. There'll be a Q&A, he'll release titles, he will read the first chapter of the book, you can ask questions to pique the interest of those who need that in order to be backing the campaign. But he's not going to be putting any spoilers in the social media posts and titles so that those of us who just kind of want to be surprised have that option. Number 4, he chose video as the way to announce this. I mentioned this before. This Kickstarter could have gone over as an email or a blog or maybe even a basic video. And because of numbers 1 through 3, this whole campaign could have worked, but he didn't. He chose a video, and he chose this video. I'd be willing to bet my year of Sanderson subscription that this way of releasing the news made this whole campaign as multifold successful as it was. Number 5, he builds interest with the title and the first 60 seconds. There's a hook. His video is called "It's Time to Come Clean." Like the first line in any good novel, you're left wondering, what does he have to come clean about? There's a question to it. We're intrigued. Is it a little clickbaity? Yes. Is it a little bit of misdirection? Yes, but it works. We have no idea what this video is about, only that Sanderson seems to feel guilty about something, and the imagery that we're seeing and the motion of the camera is corroborating this. The first 60 seconds don't reveal anything, but it just builds our curiosity. Number 6, he surprises us. At 60 seconds, the camera abruptly jumps back wide as Sanderson plops down an entire secret manuscript on the table. This guy is already a Speedy Gonzales, and yet he's written another huge book in secret? What is going on here? Number 7, he does the above 2 continuously. It doesn't just stop there. The video doesn't just peter out as like, oh, and I got a Kickstarter and the film. No. It builds. He talks about his experiences during COVID. We relate to his sense of burnout. We empathize. We're amused. We're entertained by his pie charts and him putting on a jacket. And then he surprises us again. It wasn't just one secret book. It was another book and another book and another. 5 books. He wrote 5 secret books in addition to his breakneck pace of writing the books that we all know that he writes in general. But wait, there's more, because he's launching a Kickstarter with us to share these. But it's not just any Kickstarter, there is a plan. It'll be a whole year. The months we're not getting books, we're getting cool swag bags. We can get cool stuff. Surprises every month for a year. He didn't just come right out and say all this. This isn't some half-baked scheme that we're like, oh, should we support or not? Can he really come through? There is real thought and real deliberate choice to how all of this plays out. And it's really admirable and really exciting. We're awed by how thorough it is. We're getting hot and emotional. We're primed to jump in and support him. I'm at minute 9 when he mentions the Kickstarter, and I click the link and I'm whipping out my credit card. There's still 7 more minutes with which he can use to convince those who have stronger wills than I. Number 8, his video is on brand. This is another element. This is smaller, but it's another element that's adding to the breadth of experience. He's a master, I've said this, but in the past I've only attributed it to his writing. Read up on the Cosmere if you're curious. But now I'm seeing him and his team as marketing masters. His clothes are on brand. Notice his dragon t-shirt. Notice that he's wearing a plaid shirt. He puts on the jacket, which we've all seen him wearing in the public appearances. He's a teacher, so he shows us, not just tells us the information, at chalkboards. It's something small, but it just adds all that, just one straw after another onto that camel's back. Number 9, this video is edited as it should be. I've touched on this. This video is filmed and edited right. It hits the right beats. Could it have been produced more? Yes, but it doesn't need to be. And produced less, we would lose just a bit of that impact, a few less straws. I love the abrupt jump cut when it goes back to wide when he slams the manuscript on the table. Could it have been more tuned, more dramatic? Yes, it could have been cleaner, but it does the freaking job. Not just that when there's the camera movement, the fact that the boards come in and out. Obviously there's people behind this, but it's done well. Number 10, he asks us to share the video, not just the content. He invites us to be a part of the excitement. He asks us straight out not to just tell our friends, but to share with them the video, because we do share the video. We're excited that we're going to get some of this positive glow back on us when we're the ones sharing it with our friends. Because then our friends goob out over this, but we were the ones who shared it with them. Plus, we get the bonus of being in the know and having an in on the secret while they don't. Sanderson gets us to not only share about him, but to share his original, undiluted, undistorted message. He is himself reaching every fan. It's not going through some weird telephone where I tell about him and then somebody tells about him. It's him straight to every single fan. So they get to experience the emotional ride that he takes us on. Number 11, there is social proof. Because of numbers 1 through 10, what happens is social proof. The snowball starts rolling slowly, then it picks up speed, and then it becomes an avalanche. When I opened the Kickstarter and saw $15 million, I was just even more hyped to be a part of this. This is something that so many people think is cool. I think it's cool. When a thing reaches, as Malcolm Gladwell will say, the tipping point, the thing takes on a life of its own. And when so many people say a thing is good, then those on the fence say, well, if this many people like it, it must be good. And then they join in. In the sciences, it's a positive feedback loop. Someone joins in, someone sees them joining in, so they join in. Somebody sees 2 people joining in, so they join in, until we're all lemmings falling to our happy death while drinking the Sanderson Kool-Aid. In marketing, we want this because if people are drinking our Kool-Aid and they're sharing it with others, and our original fans are cultivating good social capital with their community for having shared it with them, everybody wins. We get more customers, we create more an impact on the world, and the people we help have better experiences while we are able to assist more of them and make more money, of course. Whew, I need some water. What now? I've already filmed quite a long video. I think perhaps it deserves a vlog or 2, maybe even a video series, to go into how we can mix all of these elements together to create our own delicious marketing stew. But what we can do is look at all of the elements that Sanderson did right, and we can pick one part of one of these elements and start implementing it. We've got to start where we are. We've got to start where we are. And if we think that we're just going to wake up after our afternoon nap and accomplish this level of success without the decades of work that have gone into it, we're nutso. Maybe we're already nutso for owning our own business, but we can start where we are. We can pick one thing. We can say, how do I turn my fans into raving fans? And start doing that one thing. Or have a giant list and then only start doing the first thing. We can ask, how do I title my next video so that somebody's more likely to click on it? How can I shift my marketing so that every piece looks cohesive in its brand? What is my cohesive brand? How can I surprise and delight my customers by improving my offering with my social media, in my blog, with my next video, with my next announcement? How can I improve what I do and make it next level awesome? How can I ask people to share what I do in an authentic and meaningful way? And then we do that one thing. And then we ask another question. And we do that thing. And another question. And another thing. This never ends. And maybe, one day, if we're lucky, we'll be half the android that Brandon Sanderson is.